Do you hear that? No. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Kianna, and thank you, and especially you for clicking this video. It has been a minute since I have done an actual updated video. Lord, I thank you. Please, Lord, guide my tongue, guide my words, Lord. Allow them to be pleasing to you. Amen. I have to pray daily for the amount of comments that I get that are so negative about my current situation. In 2023, I did a video talking about the struggles of being a mom, struggles of not feeling like the people around you are the most supportive. And I want to touch on that because I still to this day, get comments about that video. And unfortunately, the comments are very negative, which I'm very confused. I'm like, Lord, it's to the point that some of the comments are so gruesome and so disgusting and so vulgar that I have to delete them. But I want to talk about the importance of having a community when you're a single parent. I don't care if you're a single mom or a single dad, a single grandparent, whatever. It is a lot for some people to come onto social media to share, be vulnerable, to be transparent about everything that they're going through. And the last thing that they need is people coming to the comments saying things that they don't know nothing of. They're hearing 10% of a story and they think they know the whole 100% of the story. So I really want to talk about how, for me, I have tough skin, but I know people who don't have tough skin, who's going through similar things that I'm going through, and how your words can literally allow someone to go into a depression, into anxiety, into thoughts of not wanting to be here anymore. I am a single parent, and I know married people, married women who got married first, had children later, who are single parents in their marriage. So it is not a one size fits all kind of situation. There are people who are married who are still single parenting. There are people who are single parents that are single parenting, or single parents who have a big community. So I can't speak on everyone's situation. I can speak on mine. And I'm very humble. I'm very transparent. I'm very open, and I'm not scared of y'all, the ones who are negative. Your comments don't deter me from sharing. Your comments don't make me get into a bubble and like, oh, I wish I never shared. No, it actually allows me to share more simply because I believe that you're in need of healing. You're in need of love. You're in need of community, godly, healthy community. And for those who have wrote to me about them having similar situations, them not having a place to stay, a car to drive, but still doing it on their own, shout out to you, because at the end of the day, you are still standing. At the end of the day, you still have air in your lungs. At the end of the day, your kids will see that although they went through a struggle, their mother or their father did not give up on them. And that's something we should high five. I was clapping, but I said high five, so we can high five that as well. For me, just an updated from 2023. Yeah, is it really an update? It is. Okay, so 2023, I spoke about how I was a single parent. I struggled with not having much for myself in terms of community, in terms of like not having someone just to say like, hey Kianna, what can I do for you? But someone to say, how are you? How are you doing? What do you need? Do you need me to come to your house and sit with you? Want to go on a walk together? You want us to pray together? You want us to do something? Go to the park, go to the beach. These are all free options that I've just given. So, because some people equate needing something as in materialistic or money. Sometimes people who are struggling just need you to listen. They just need you to hear them so that they can vent, so they can get it out. We don't want to internalize every single thing we're going to. Sometimes it's best to get in a supported, trusted community so that we can share and be vulnerable and transparent, so that we can allow healing to take place. And so for me back then, I feel like I didn't have the level of support that I thought I needed. And fast forward a year later, God has he's tuning me up, because beyond me losing my apartment, which I didn't at the time, or my car, which I didn't at the time, I'm in a season where I'm waiting. I am currently without my own home. I'm currently without my own vehicle. I'm currently without a job. And some of the comments were like, go work at McDonald's, go work at this place, go work. You're just being lazy. People, you don't understand the amount of stress that people go through. I have applied to every single job known to man. McDonald's, I applied everywhere. And I never knew that McDonald's, Panda Express, they send you denial letters, like emails. I didn't know that. I thought they just didn't call you back. And it's just like, okay, you didn't get the job. What is God saying to me? Because before it was, I felt like I didn't have a community, but I had a home, I had a car. But now I don't have a home, I don't have a car, but I have community. And I will say, although it can be stressful at times to have to depend on people, it's worth more reassurance, peace of mind, knowing that no matter what you're going through, beyond God being there for you, is your community's there. So I have had situations where I have been sick. I've had everything. I've got diagnosed with diseases. I had pneumonia. The day I got pneumonia, 2 days later, I had my car repoed, and I have 2 kids, as you know. It is a lot. It is a lot, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful to God that I'm still standing, but He's given me this level of peace that I never had. And I always revert to my favorite chapter in the Bible, or favorite scripture in the Bible, which is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it says, trust in the Lord. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, not just a little bit, not just like, Lord, I'll give you this, but I'm going to keep this. No, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understandings. When you're understanding, you're really not having faith. So trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understandings. In all your ways, acknowledge God, and He will direct your path. And so in this season, I'm like, God, what are you saying to me? What am I needing to do? What am I needing to change? Is it my heart posture? Is it the way I think, the way I talk, the way I act? Please help me to understand what is it in this season that you're doing to me, or helping me get through so that I can get to my breakthrough. Oh, bars. But seriously, I feel like I have been in this season very long, longer than I've wanted, but I've realized that because God is a good Father and He knows exactly what we need when we need it, I'm going through this for a reason, you know. And sometimes you got to think about it with school. You start off with all these classes, all these tests, all these exams, all this studying, but the reward is graduation, or the reward is a job that you want. So sometimes you have to go through these tests in order to make it through the breakthrough or the harvest. And so I have been journaling. That's something that has really helped me. I hated journaling. I hated writing because my writing starts off great, and then it goes to this like scribble scrabble. But I started journaling a few years ago, and I started journaling like a quick small little book, and then it got to I'm like 6 journals in, and I've realized that even if I'm not trying to give everyone, which I'm not, everyone every single thing that I think, I'm giving it to God. So every morning or every other morning I write, I call it Journal to Jesus, where I just tell Him what I'm thinking. I'm grateful. I'm telling Him how thankful I am for being able to stand, to breathe, to listen, to hear, to observe. Like, we sometimes forget in our day-to-day what we're blessed with, the miracles, the small miracles that God blesses with every single day, which is breathing, which is hearing, which is seeing, which is smelling. Our senses are so unnoticed sometimes until we get sick or till something happens and we start appreciating, you know, that even more. So I'm asking God to really shape me, shape my heart, to understand Him, understand people, to lean in, to be the hands and feet and heart of Him when it comes to people. I think it's hard. It's hard going through things, but it's easier knowing that God is with you. It's easier knowing that you have a community. Right now, my girls are currently with my parents in Ohio, and I'm grateful to have this time in the summertime to really understand who God has called me to be, understanding my purpose in life, and being able to just be free. Having kids is heavy, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you're engaged. Having children, no matter what stage you're in, is heavy. They're a lot. And sometimes we forget and we lose ourselves in that marriage, in that relationship, in that singlehood. We still lose ourselves when it comes to our children. And so having this time to myself is a blessing. Like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? No, because what happened? My kids are gone, period. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful that I have this time. And my plan was to work as much as I can work, get 2 jobs, get an overnight job as well as a 9-to-5 job, so that I can build as much money as I can to when they come back, we can move, we can get our own place. And God's like, my ways are higher than yours, my thoughts are higher than yours. And I'm just like, you know what? I have to stop trying to be self-sufficient when it comes to what God is doing for me. And some people say, you're supposed to work, you're supposed to do this, faith without work is dead. What God has downloaded to you, what God has told you is what he told you. He didn't tell everybody else. There's something I saw on Instagram was that stop trying to convince someone what God has told you, because it wasn't a conference call. And so because I saw that and it really absorbed, I just mic drop. I've realized that God didn't tell Noah and God didn't tell Moses and God didn't tell David and someone to defeat the giant, to build an ark, to the water be split in half. God gave specific. So my phone cut off. I'm so confused. I don't know, but I left off on basically talking about how God gave specific people specific instructions, and it's not our job to tell somebody what God has told them. So don't try to convince anybody of anything. We need to walk like Jesus. We need to talk like Jesus. We need to be the hands and feet of Jesus. The only way we can do that is to be in prayer, be in his word, find a church, find a community that can help you, uplift you, and encourage you to be the best that you can be. And sometimes we have to change our ways, change our posture, change who we hang out with, change what we watch, what we listen to. There's something I saw on Instagram the other day with Nicki, Cardi B, as well as, I don't know this rapper's name. And they're talking about how they are tired of speaking these lyrics because it's activating demons. And I wish the people who listen to their lyrics would understand, or the music industry alone, understand that they are not here to uplift you. And there was someone that I know, she said whenever she would listen to that type of music, she would get more angry and anxious. But I try my best to listen to gospel music because it uplifts you, it encourages you, it tells you that your best days are yet to come, and that God has made you in his own image, and that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It just encourages you, it uplifts you. It's like seeing your curtains in the morning, you're pushing them back and you're seeing the sun just hit you. It's like a breath of fresh air. And I encourage you all to be intentional about who you hang out with, be intentional on what you listen to, what you watch, because those things, honestly, it taps into your subconscious. And if you hang around somebody who cusses all the time, you're going to stop adapting that language. If you think it or not, you're going to start talking the way they talk, because they say birds of a feather flock together. And so I want to encourage you guys to be who God has called you to be. No matter what season I'm in, no matter what happens, I do believe that God has a plan for me. God has a plan for my children. He has a plan for us. And I am that person who God has called to build people's faith, to encourage, to uplift, to invite them into the presence of God, to get to know who they are, get to know what their purpose is, get to know the passions in which God has for them. And you can only do that honestly by praying, reading God's word. You can think about it as like if you meet someone, you have to get to know them by spending time with them, talking to them, engaging with them, understanding their dislikes and their likes or dislikes. Same thing with God. You have to be in his word, understanding who he is, understanding what he wants from what he's called you to be. And the only way you can do that is by reading his word, by going to church, by building community, godly, healthy community. So be mindful on people's situation, whether you've been in it or not. And it's 9 times out of 10 is you've never been in it. You never had a situation like that, but yet you're commenting on someone's life. It's not like, a Yelp review about some food that you didn't like. It's like, this is someone's life, their livelihood. It's hard for people to have compassion. And it's weird because we have more grace for ourselves than we do other people. But I encourage you guys to have grace, have compassion, have self-control, empathy for other people, because you never know what someone's last tick is. And you don't want to be that person that leads someone down the worst path that they can either not come back from or that they regret for the rest of their life. God loves you. I love you. And until next time, bye.